I dabbed in front of 100,000 people, and Destiny is now in the hands of Bungie completely. Apparently. All that and more on today's episode of the Critical State Podcast.
Man, such an excellent.
Yeah, obviously. It's like the best intro ever. Like, it's the best one we've ever done. It's the third one we've ever done.
When you sum it up
one.
like that,
yeah,
the best, like, dabbed in front of 100,000 people. There were actually 100,000 people at the very end of that.
Exactly. I dabbed in front of 100,000 people. So there you go. You have to round out the number and all that.
Also, hello.
Also, hi everybody.
Hello.
Hello. You should clarify what you mean. Where did you dab in front of 100,000
We'll get that very
people?
shortly, but before that, welcome to today's episode of the Critical State Podcast. I dabbed on stream for AGDQ 2019 in front of 100,000 people, all for charity, by the way. That's going to probably be the biggest topic of today's show, but of course, as I said in the precursor, we are going to be talking about Destiny as well a little bit later. But
Speedrunning,
yeah, dude. So if you guys don't know, it might be going on right now as soon as this podcast goes up or already over with, but Awesome Games Done Quick 2019, which is an biannual speedrunning event by the Games Done Quick people. It's a charity event to raise cancer for charity. Raise charity for cancer. Raise money for charity for cancer. There we go. I can't speak. And I'm glad I'm fumbling around my words right now and not on stream like a bumbling idiot. So at least
I was nervous.
Yeah, no, you did pretty good on stream.
I did pretty good, but it was all to raise money for charity. In this case, for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. I played Medal of Honor Airborne in front of 90,000 people, and as well as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X. And I had a couple of my friends that came to the event and attended, as well as some lovely people watching on the Discord together, cheering me on from the sidelines.
Me and Michael could watch, but the others had to go to bed because they had work and stuff, so they couldn't watch. They were going to. Jimmy was in there chilling, but he had to go because
he had to be up. He had to be.
I think 5 a.m.
Yeah. It's funny because he had to work, and he was like, "Oh man, Michael, I overslept."
He
He woke up. It was like 2:30. He was supposed to be there at 2, and he's like, I don't know. It was a funny story, but either way.
Yeah.
I stood up because I didn't have class till like 2:30, so I was just like, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna stay up, watch my homeboy do his thing.
Yeah. It was very surreal.
It was a pretty surreal experience. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people that are at the event are kind of like veterans. They've done this a number of times, but this is my first time going to an event like this. The most I've had before on stream watching me is I think 250 people, maybe 300, and now it's trumped by like almost 90,000 people. So it was a pretty surreal experience. I was very nervous, as you could probably imagine, but it was an awesome event. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I did not want to go, but unfortunately I had to.
Did you have a green room just before? Talk us through the day of what it's like to be a hot person. I can't think of what to call it. Like a VIP.
A VIP.
AGDQ. Did they take you to a green room? Did you meet Ninja? Did you?
It was not the event. I can confirm that right now, as far as I'm aware.
Did you get any did you specify you only wanted red M&Ms, that kind of thing?
No.
What happened?
Okay, so
day-to-day.
So for those who don't know, I live in South Carolina, and I had to go all the way to Rockville, Maryland, which is about an 8.5 hour drive. So me and a buddy of mine who was sort of interested in speedrunning, he wanted to see the Super Bowl of speedrunning, as you will. And I was like, yeah, come along. I already paid for the hotel. Like, you can chill and hang out and shit. And we both got the days off, and we rode up there, 8.5 hour drive to hotel. We had to stay a night at another hotel because I wanted to be there for the opening of the event, but I didn't get a hotel room until like that day. So we went like 6 hours all the way up to Fredericksburg, Virginia, and just stayed there the night. And then we went early morning, got to the hotel, checked in, just chilled out, hung out with some people, checked out, see what all they had on display at the time, because there wasn't really a whole lot. And then I was there in the stream room as soon as it opened. In fact, if you watch some of the opening bits of before the Hollow Knight run, you'll probably see me in the crowd sitting down with my friend.
Hey.
So we watched a Hollow Knight run, then, which was a good run, by the way, good opener. And we checked out a couple other things. Then I started hanging out with people, playing some games, did my thing, practiced, and all that for the next couple days. We just kind of just chilled, enjoyed ourselves, had fun, ate a lot, played more games. That's pretty much about it. Then it gets to the day of the marathon, my day, and I will say I had a bad shift. I had like almost a graveyard shift type thing. It was bad for the United States, but it was good for Europe and Australia. They had a really good time slot. Excuse me. But I didn't really let that get to me. So I just napped like from like 9 o'clock at night the day before, and then I woke up around 2 a.m. I got dressed. I got showered first, then I got dressed, and
it would be weird if you did it the other way around.
Exactly. Then I got pretty much ready, went downstairs, watched the Trauma Center run, was really confused about what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I did not understand that game. I think I said to Michael that it looked like a surgery JRPG, which looks like a game you could only make in Game Dev Tycoon.
I think he made a joke. I think he made a joke saying that it was like it was a medical center game but anime. And that's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I didn't realize games like that could exist. I didn't realize
it is
that
Japan.
was actually possible.
It is Japan.
That's true.
I mean, in my opinion, if a game is so mundane that you don't remember the chapters for the game and you only remember it when it comes up with the screen, yeah. But not the bash the game. Apparently, there's a lot of cool tech that he was doing. Apparently, it's a long game. It's probably a very endurance-heavy game, so give him that.
Yeah, I looked it.
Then I went downstairs during the run so I can pretty much prepare myself mentally, and hung out with some friends, played a little bit at the arcade room that we had. And then I went upstairs. We had a green room, but fun fact, the stylist that we had a stylist there that would help us with makeup and stuff like that. Especially this like the biggest thing was glare off our cheeks. Like if you had like shinier cheeks or whatever, it was just to help get rid of all the glare from the photos and shit like that. But they dropped out last minute, so that was pretty cool. So we didn't get any makeup, me or my couches. And by couches, by the way, I mean commentators. So I was so disheartened, as you could tell. So then he got done with this run. I went on stage, got ready for Medal of Honor Airborne, and yeah, there you go. It's not really like the most fancy stuff ever. I was just there. I was a guy who I've had a huge passion for speedrunning, and I was speedrunning my games rather.
It was very weird because me and Michael were just waiting for the narrator to say, "And now the Packle," and it was very weird when she did.
Yeah, it really was.
It was really weird.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though. It was pretty cool. So that's like I was telling him is like, if he ever makes it into, or if he ever I'm sure he'll make it, but if he ever goes to SGDQ, that I'd definitely be able to tag along.
Hell yeah, man. In fact, my buddy who I brought along with me, who was kind of interested in speedrunning, now he has a vast interest in speedrunning, has been questioning me to death. Love you, Kyle. About how speedrunning works, like mentalities and stuff like that, and he's talking about getting to it himself. I know you talked about getting in a check quest.
That's all I want is a Chex Quest world record, and I need to start.
They did that
the
on
only
stream.
Thing I want.
Like you know that, right? Like they showed it on stream during this Doom block. It was Chex Quest.
Oh, really? They had Chex Quest on there.
We heard someone mention it as we were watching, and we were like, "That's really fucking weird." We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So somebody's already ran Chex Quest on stream?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, well, time to find another game.
But he wants to get into maybe some platformers, probably more indie ones, but he's still talking about it. I'm trying to get into maybe going to Spyro or Crash, because that's a pretty good, decent, that's a good starter game.
I think I would do something shooters, because I have decent aim, so I feel confident in that. So it's something that's a shooter.
We'll talk about it after, Michael. Yeah, I can talk to you about something. We'll talk after this.
Yeah, that works.
I have something in mind.
Oh, you're gonna give him your contacts?
Yeah, I have my contacts now. No, honestly, I didn't really talk to many people besides the people on my team, and a few other Tony Hawk speedrunners that were there. I didn't really conversate with much else people. Wow, I can't speak. I can't really conversate much else with other people. See, again, at least I got everything right on stream and not fucked it up. I was really worried I was gonna fuck up the commentary, but I did pretty well apparently. So
it was weird watching, thinking that you must be so nervous, and then imagining ourselves doing it. Like the cameras just. Do you remember what happened to Jesse Wellens? For Battlefront 2, do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. He just kind of just paused and just.
Yeah, he kind of just stopped, and it's like, oh no, he got the I don't know, stage fright.
Yeah.
I was a little worried I was gonna do that, honestly.
Wait, what was the story behind that?
I wouldn't have blamed you. I would have absolutely done that.
The story was so when we were in Battlefront 2, there was that guy who was supposed to be talking about it, and they went to him. He was like I guess a personality, and he just kind of just looked at the camera and didn't know what to say. Well, he knew what to say, but he just didn't know how to say it because at that moment you're like, I'm live in front of potentially hundreds of thousands of people. What do I do now?
Yeah, pretty much. It was
so that was just like an official announced event that EA did.
Yeah, it was during E3.
Yeah, it was at E3.
That's what it was. Okay, I missed that completely.
You might recognize it if you saw it. I'm sure it showed up in fucking those stupid cringe compilations or something.
Yeah. But for me, I wasn't really too nervous. Like, I was nervous. I was nervous. I made some mistakes, especially my Tony Hawk run early on, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But I wasn't really too nervous. I put myself up. There was even a photo on the GDQ Twitter about my buddy behind me, just like, doing the whole back rub thing. You got this, man. He was pepping me up. I was like, hell yeah, I got this.
That's
they told me I was going live, and I'm like, let's fucking go. And I went.
Doing it live. Yeah, that's good, man. So, and I feel like, but I'm sure once you attend a few of these events, you'll be a lot better off.
Oh yeah,
because because your nerves, you're thinking about all these people watching you, and you just have that's gonna screw up with your mind. You're trying to think things through, figure out what to do next, where to go. And you can always screw that up real easy.
Yeah, and I was worried, especially my. As you can tell, my ability to fumble over my words a lot. I was worried I was going to do that midstream. But as far as I remember, I didn't do that any.
No,
so
I
was surprised.
So. Well,
I forgot to talk about a few things, but that's going to happen, especially with how some things went in the runs.
Yeah. Are we going to talk about how memed you got by the fucking chat?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Got absolutely memed.
So
Clint has this habit of whenever something doesn't go right, he goes, hello? And
hello?
And every time you said it, the chat spammed it, and it was so fucking funny.
So we should definitely have just get that image on screen, the screenshot that I took of that guy.
Oh yeah, there was a guy who said, please help, I'm drinking every time he says hello and I don't want to die.
So for those of you wondering as well, games like Quake, they don't like you cursing, like a damn or crap or whatever. So often, the lesser curse words or whatever is fine. But if you go on a tangent or say shit, fuck, damn, cunt, motherfucking, whatever the hell,
yeah, banned. It's the ban.
You get banned. You just get fucked up, and you're never coming back.
I was thinking, I was like, is he able to say Nazi on stream? Like, can he say that?
Well, it's a game about Nazis, of course.
Well, never know.
What was that? What was the story, Clint? Do you know the whole story about the guy who did Devil May Cry runs and he got banned for it or something?
No.
Because they didn't like it. Or something along the lines of him saying devil, but they also didn't like him, so they used that as an excuse to ban him.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to politics like that. I'm honestly with you. I'm honestly with you.
Yeah,
I'm honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I know. Like, I thought that was funny, so I was like, Clint better not say anything.
Like,
anything
if I
slip,
went around calling
gone.
everyone a Nazi, yeah, that'd be different. But in the context, I use Nazi. It makes sense.
Yeah.
After that, I started using Germans, and I was like, wait, did I say Germans?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, maybe. I was like, he noticed.
I know. In all honesty, I was fucked either way. Like, they accepted the game. Of course, it's about World War II. It's gonna be about Nazis. So.
Well, I mean, that goes for anything. That's like with the same instance with Devil May Cry, where you have Devil Trigger, right? And that's a mechanic, and
it's in the name of the game.
It's in the name of the game too.
But they care more. They care more about.
Well,
cursing.
yeah,
So
like actual swear words, no doubt.
Like, if I went on a tangent, I would have been outed off the stage, and it would have been embarrassing. But that's why I said hello a lot, because in place of cursing, I was like, hello? Hello.
It was
Which is good,
so
which is good.
Funny. It was
I,
so
I did
funny
watch it
every
back.
time.
I did watch it back, and I did see all the memeing. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm fine with the hello memeing. At least
It
they
was
didn't
so
like
wholesome.
find something else and then meme me the fuck out. Meme me the fuck for that.
What was the one guy that he did the Crash Bandicoot runs? He was talking about killing himself and stuff, like because
Yeah,
it was a
like, it was
mechanic
a-
in the game.
Yeah,
as
the
a tech
mechanic of
or
the game was
whatever.
to kill yourself, like it's suicide, so that way you can get to a better spawn points, death warp. But I guess he just has
Took it a little too far.
issues talking about in commentary, especially in front of a lot of people,
he
and
wouldn't
talked about
stop.
killing people and killing himself and all this, and it's like, okay, yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
but I don't mind getting memed. That's fine. Like at least it's over something like that, and not something really, really dumb. Like I don't know. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
Wearing
Something
a
just
bunch of
embarrassing on
children,
stream.
like Ninja.
Or yeah, that too.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So what
I'm
did you
glad-
run?
yeah.
Go into detail. What did you run?
So I did Medal of Honor Airborne. I said this a little bit before, but I can go in more depth about the run
I know.
themselves.
I'm just recapping it.
Okay, so I did Medal of Honor Airborne. That run also did 2x Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2x. I'll talk about that in a moment. I did Medal of Honor Airborne. The run went a slightly overestimate. It was like a 35-27 or something like that. Which if it goes over estimate, it's fine as long as it's not something like stupid, like 10 minutes or whatever. That's an issue. But 30 seconds is not bad. But the run itself, the beginning was awful. Like I had really, really bad RNG, and then the Nazis were after me. What else can I say? It's as if they got a call from Hitler himself saying, "Hey, this guy is streaming at a charity event. Kill him." So
Nice.
they went after me, and I was bad. I had bad shot. I was bad at shooting, and people saw it. I was bad at shooting. It's really hard to shoot in that game. I'll be honest with you. Like this, it's a really weird system. I can't really explain it. It doesn't feel right to me, but I died twice during that run. In the very first part, I died on the third AA turret, and then I was in a bad position to begin with because I landed, then I lost a lot of health getting to the second AA turret on top of the castle, and then I got to the third one, I got destroyed, like absolutely destroyed. Then I respawned, got it. Then I went to the top of the hill for the fourth AA turret, got destroyed. Then I had to respawn. Then I had decent RNG on the second attempt, and it was good from there. After that, it was mainly just a few issues now and again. I had bad RNG on the third mission with RNG in the pillboxes. That could have went better, but besides that, like mechanically, it wasn't a terrible run. And of course, if it ended off with me going out of bounds on the final level after saying it was pretty much DLC and ending the game.
Yeah. I mean, you had a pretty good. Like towards the end, it got a lot better. And I was thinking, maybe he's just
It was
not used
nerves.
to the setup. Nerves.
It was
as well.
mainly just nerves. There's nothing wrong with
there's
the
a lot
setup.
of
It was
factors
just a
going
lot of
into it.
nerves. I was a little nervous, especially that's my first run. 2x,
Oh, yeah,
on
definitely.
the other hand, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2x, that also started really terribly. I bailed like 3 times to start off in the first mission, which I never bail, and I was just confused. I was trying to figure out how to commentate, but I was also trying to figure out what the heck was going on because something was off. Come to find out that I'm actually used to I'm completely used to higher latency monitors. So when they gave me a low latency monitor, my timing was slightly off. So I had to adjust mid-game. So that was fun. Which you wouldn't expect. Like my TV that I usually play on here is probably like, I want to say 10. It's not great. It's terrible. I got it for pretty cheap, but that's all I really have at the time. It's like a 10 refresh rate. It's like a 10 hertz monitor, or 10 hertz monitor, 10 tick monitor.
Yeah.
But the ones they had was like 1. So it's like, wait, you wouldn't think that would make much of a difference, but that's frames, and I'm used to specific frame rate. Specific like frame like
Oh yeah.
timings. And then I just badly timed everything. I just kept bailing. So that messed up the route. After that, into school too, I pretty much had complete control of the game again. And up until Venice, I was good. I messed up the Venice jump the first time. Then I got it the second time, which is awesome. At least I got a second try. I was really worried I would be there for a little while. Then I completed that run really fast. Like I think that run of Venice was actually the best Venice run I've had in months. So, of course, I would get it after a failed attempt, but at least that's pretty cool that I got it afterwards. Then the rest of the run, if I remember correctly, went pretty well. I hit most of the major tricks except for the Minnesota jump and the 1 second, one section. I had to retry that like 4 or 5 times, and I got it. Usually I get it second or third try, so I was a little bit off. It was mainly that my angle was just slightly off, or I was jumping a tiny fraction of a second too early, which matters for that trick especially. Once I made the trick, it was smooth sailing from there. I made the downhill jump instantly, which everyone clapped for it. I'm like, guys, I want to say it's like 4 seconds. And then I messed up the competition in the second competition in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 section, because I was going for a newer strat, because I said my friend will probably be mad at me if I don't go for this, so I messed it up. Then I did it right the second time, and then everything else went smoothly from there, and I got like a 27:57, so that's pretty cool. Also, as I said on that stream, I actually got world record while practicing. I did like a practice run just to practice our commentary and make sure what we were saying. Yeah, I didn't have my laptop with me, like my recording laptop, so I didn't record it. I wasn't expecting it, so I got a 26:02 or 26:03. I think it's a 26:02. I'm pretty sure. While some people were watching me, so I unofficially have a 26:02. I'm not going to submit it though because I kind of want video proof of it. I could. Yeah. I do have enough people verifying that I could do it. Now, if I just straight up said, yeah, I got a 26:02 in practice by myself, no one watching, yeah, no one's going to accept that. But I had 4 people watching me, so that's enough people to verify my time is accurate and for me to go ahead and submit that. But I'm a guy who believes in like video evidence. So whenever I come back to the category, I know I can just crash it. I was really hoping I would get world record on stream. And I guess I set my expectations a little too high, and I kind of just fumbled around a little bit at the start, along with the nerves, and the latency didn't help either. So it was kind of a rough start, but once we got going, we got going. For both events, I had Shockwave, Amerlin, and Plumato on my Medal of Honor run. Fantastic couch. We were talking about John Airborne himself saving the world from cancer. Everyone loved it, apparently. I've seen people...
that fucking moment where you were going after that Nazi officer, and John Airborne's homeboy came along and punted the guy.
Dude, everyone was
that
so
was unbelievable.
I'd never seen that in a Medal of Honor game, especially Airborne before, like ever. I've played this game for I had officially on Steam. I had like 50 or so hours. I've probably put at least a couple hundred hours, especially in practicing offline. And I've never seen that. So when that happened, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I was shooting the guy, and then he just comes up, boom, and just knocks him the fuck out. It's like, yo.
I think I ended up in a compilation of AGDQ best moments or something.
Yeah, it did. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
There was also a moment, like seconds before that, where there was another Nazi that was hiding behind a box, and I was running up to him with a grenade in my hands. I went around the box, poop, right in the back of the head, and he just goes flying. And then after that, I just went and did my thing. I had a bunch of grenades, and then that Nazi officer got fucking destroyed. Like, they need to rewrite the definition of destroyed, because this guy got eviscerated. Like, god damn. So that was great. There was what's the name? I can't remember the freaking website now. There was a website also who highlighted my 2x run. Let me find the name of the website real quick. I retweeted on Twitter earlier. It was a website called a90skid.com. I never really heard of them. But they were recapping their best runs of AGDQ Day 4. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X was tagged along with... Trauma Center apparently was tagged. Morrowind was tagged, and Guacamelee 2 was tagged, and Semblance and N++ was tagged.
Ooh,
so there's a couple runs tagged along 2X, so that's pretty cool that I got that.
Huh. You did it, boy. You famous now.
Am I though?
I mean, you've been on a stream in front of more people than I have. So by my definition, you are famous.
Yes, I have all the followers. I got. Let me see how many followers I got. I can look on Streamlabs real quick while. Yeah, I got some followers out of it. Like, but going for followers is not really the entire point of the matter. That was an entire point of it. It was just all to raise charity, money for charity. And as I said in the precursor as well, I got a donation from Konasumi himself, Couch Kid. That's his nickname now in the greater speedrunning community. He donated saying that he donated money, shouting us out, and it was like for an additional $5, if everyone Paco and the Couch dabs, I'll donate $5. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Oh, I wasn't at first. I was like, do I really want to do this? Then I looked at Couch and they're like, hey man, if you want to do it, I'm like, okay, let's wait for this cutscene. And the cutscene came out, we all dabbed except Plumato because apparently he doesn't know how to dab. I'm like, how do you not know how to dab? So they taught him how to dab real quick. We all dabbed, and I got another like tweet from Games on Quick about that too.
Oh goddamn! And if we're gonna talk about donations, we have got to talk about Michael's trials and tribulations.
I'll be honest. Did you use the hashtag Packle donation thing?
Yeah,
you did? Okay.
I did.
I even told them your username was going to probably be Levitt or Michael. And I guess.
Oh no! I put it as Hat Mario.
Oh, that's why. That's why.
Oh, that's my fault. I told him to put it as Hat Mario because it's something only you would get.
Yeah, that's the reason. They probably saw that and was like, "This is a meme," and just skipped over it.
Yeah, Michael sent in a donation.
I forgot exactly what it says.
Yeah, I think I'll try and remember after this, I guess. He sent a donation and we were just waiting for it to pop. So every time there was a donation, we would wait for the lady to read it out, and every time it was not him. And we thought, well, maybe it's just because it was only $5 and maybe they don't read those out. Or maybe it's that so many people donated beforehand and he never. And then we got to a $5 donation that wasn't him, and
it had no comment. It was just no comment. And I'm like, why did they read his? It had no comment, and they didn't read mine. I forgot exactly what I said. It was something along the lines of "keep your tryhard panties on" or something like that.
Oh yeah, if that's the case, they definitely just vetoed
or
that.
Tryhard undies or something. I don't know. Something.
They
like
probably
that.
thought you were being mean or whatever. I don't know. They're careful about their donations. Probably a little too careful. So that sucks. But
with good reason though. Probably. Yeah,
they probably don't. They don't want like
anything that
for
may
example,
be
especially
offensive.
Earlier in the marathon, there was a meme going around. This guy's apparently donators were acting like his parents, and one of his parents passed away or whatever, and donated, quote unquote. Oh. So that was a little awkward. So they probably started shutting things down a bit more after that. I can't remember which run it was, but I remember hearing about it later on. So they started. I guess they probably were a little more careful. They didn't want to like say something they thought was not. They didn't want to say something that was ill-intentioned that they didn't know was ill-intentioned.
Yeah, I got you. But that's fine. Well, I'll keep it a little better for next time. I'll be sure to just put it as Levitt next time then, because I don't want to, any confusion there.
Yeah, don't send a donation that says, just fuck you, Packle.
But yeah,
so a donkey's arsehole.
So did you guys like the runs?
Yeah, it was pretty lit watching.
Yeah,
I was a bit nervous at the beginning when you had 2 bad starts. Because
it's funny because I told my brother about it too, and I was like, hey, one of my friends is gonna be on stream, and I was like, hey, you should go watch it. And he was actually up at like 6 a.m. I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. But he started sending me he sent me a text. He's like, hey, stream is saying hello now. You should tell him hello. So my brother was watching, so yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
So I'm thinking about actually having for SGDQ. I'll probably have like a big hello t-shirt.
Do it.
Because that's kind of my say. It's either
great.
that or Dude Nice. And I have an emo on my Twitch channel called Dude Nice. It's like a skateboard broken in half. On one half it says dude, the other side of the head half it says nice.
I like that.
I could either do that or I could do hello. So we'll see.
When you trying to go again?
So it depends. Coming up in March is California. There's a California marathon called Calithon 2019. And I got accepted into it. I actually have the second game of the entire event in Tony Hawk's Underground. And also later on the day at the marathon, I think the third day, I have a game called Slipstream. We're doing co-op with a friend. Slipstream is it's like the old school like rally racer games. It's like kind of like that perspective. But this is the kicker. We're doing co-op battle royale.
Okay.
Now,
Interesting.
now, if you don't know what that is, of course you probably don't. So indie game. So co-op battle royale is that we are pitted against 16 other AI opponents, varying skill levels, and the objective is to become, the #1 victory royale player or whatever, right? The thing about co-op is you can work together and you can slipstream off each other and give each other more speed and just rocket to the end. And at that point, it's just keeping your speed up and going fast. And once it gets down to you two, it's pretty much just a race to see who's better at that point.
So you're telling me that you're also going to want to speedrun F-Zero GX, right?
No. That requires a special type of patience that I do not have. So, yeah. But that's coming up in Palithon. I have to figure out the funds for that because the hotel and the flight, which I'm not driving, that's fucking 36-hour drive. I'm not doing that. Is roughly $1,000. So I need to figure out how to do funds for that. Might end up doing. I can probably save it myself, but I probably will do like an event probably in February, late February, to help raise a little bit more funds. Hopefully a couple more $100, so I'm not really at.
I mean, you should just do the fucking drive at that point. Jesus Christ, $1,000.
Well, it's the flight. The flight's only like $200. It's just the hotel's fucking expensive.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So if you looked like a little bit off, I guess, like maybe like 30 minutes from there. Is it all expensive like that? Because that might make a difference.
Well, but at that point, I still need a car, right? So, but one of my buddies there is gonna have his car, so I probably want to live a little bit closer. And plus, usually with these major events, they get like some sort of deal with the hotel that they're staying at, so they can compensate and make sure that as many people can come as possible. Like we went, the hotel we went to, the Marriott Hotel. We had, it was like a 3.5-star business hotel. That's pretty much the best way to put it. Like it's meant for businesses. There's also like in the other section of the hotel is a conference center, and it had all sorts of like areas for conferences or whatever. AGDQ had like half of them just dedicated to them, but the rooms were pretty nice. And I got it for like $120 a pop for a night, because we had a special rate. Usually they're like $200+, so we had a good discount. But I will say it was a little weird just walking around the conference center, and then you have these gamers or whatever, and then you just see people in business suits. It's a little strange.
Oh yeah, that's like, well, yeah, that goes for like have you been in like any of the conventions, like at a hotel? It's like have I ever told you about whenever me and Daisy randomly discovered an anime convention like 2 feet from us?
No.
No, that is an interesting discovery.
So we were at we were getting breakfast, and it was like 11 o'clock, right? So brunch fest in a way. But either way, we're just sitting here, and then we look across. So this little, it's called Famous Toastery. We sat at this it's like a little it was like kind of outside, right? And there's a big pond out there that you're kind of overlooking into, so it's really nice. But we see fucking Inuyasha and friends across the pond just walking, and I'm like, and dude, Shippo was really tall, man. Shippo was he was huge. You know who I'm talking about? He's a little fox guy. No? Yes?
Yeah,
maybe?
I'm not an anime, so
yeah. Normally he's just some like little fox dude, right? But this guy was tall. I just thought it was hilarious because he was dressed like this little fox character. But we decided to look around a little bit, and we found out it was a hotel that had an anime convention there. So we went in and we checked it out. They had a pageant, and it was probably so you ever watch cringe compilations on YouTube? I got to experience one in real life. It was the best worst thing I've ever done. So it was a convention, and they had a pageant. And, at first it was pretty normal. They had like a costume, costume contest, whatever, cosplay contest, same thing, right? Somebody's gonna kill me for that.
No, I think you got it right.
They had the cosplay, right? And they did that, whatever. It's pretty normal, right? Pretty standard for a convention. And then they had the actual pageant part where people had to dance or sing to a song of their choice.
Oh no.
90% of it was in Japanese, and then there was this one dude who was dressed as Luffy. He was maybe 40 years old, and he just kind of stomped around stage and didn't really do anything. It was really weird.
What the fuck?
I didn't realize that was a part of conventions.
Yeah, evidently.
Singing down.
Yeah, usually they have like
loads of
cool
early
stuff on the
bit.
side. Like we had a lot of cool stuff on the side for ours. It was pretty much like it's pretty much a speedrunning convention. Let's be honest.
So it wasn't FireCon or whatever it was called.
No,
Or
no.
you didn't have
what was
a ball pit.
Pulpit.
That fucking that disaster.
Hey man, I'm gonna learn some anime dances.
I would
And then
not.
perform them in front of like 200 people.
I would prefer not to.
Well, you know, if it makes you feel any better, Clint, I have to do a presentation, a 45-minute presentation in front of 200 people for my class. So
I just
Is
did
it
like a
anime?
presentation away in front of 90,000 people, so you got it.
yeah, but then you had Twitch chat. That's so much better, though.
I wish I didn't get a chance. Obviously, we couldn't watch Twitch chat on stream. I wish I could have just seen all
Yeah.
the hellos. I probably would have cracked up dying.
That would have been really nice.
Every time you said it, the chat was just spammed with it for about 30 seconds at a time.
Could you not just bring in like a tablet and set it on the side with just the chat open? Like where you
they-
would obviously
Distract
camera.
They
doesn't see.
only really bring up chat in special circumstances because, especially in the past, Twitch chat was cancer because it was open. It's right now it's sub only and for good reason, in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
opinion.
I was asking about that. I asked Joe about that earlier, and he made a good point. Basically, saying the same thing. It's just horrible.
Like Twitch chat is notoriously cancer, especially with major events like this. They are notoriously cancer. Like they would see like a trans person on screen, they will fucking go in on that shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like they are genuinely terrible people. But so that's why it's
Yeah.
sub only. So it's a bit more controlled. So
yeah.
if it was like
mean,
open, I'm
nasty
sure I
comment.
would be mean to
Also-
death in other ways. So
Yeah. I guess the system works.
yeah, it works. Not that many people like it, but in my opinion, it makes the most sense. Fight me,
Yeah. The internet
Oh, yeah.
requires it.
pretty much.
If the internet can't play nice, then it needs to be forced to.
Yep, pretty much. But unfortunately, I came back today on the 10th. I really wish I didn't. I really wanted to stick around, play some more, hang out some more, watch some more live. But unfortunately, I could not. And now
Yeah.
I'm back home.
Back in the land of not a celebrity anymore.
I wasn't really a
You're just
celebrity to
like
begin with. Like runners.
Again, you were on stream in front of 100,000 people. That is more than I think has ever happened to me.
Yeah, not many people can say that they were in front of 100,000 people live. So I have that going for me.
Yeah, Mr. Fashion, Mr. Big Shot.
But it was a fun event. If for any speedrunners out there, of course, if anyone's watching, I would recommend going, attending the events if you're even like a little bit interested in speedrunning. There's like most of the people that were there were attendees. Like people just want to come hang out, watch, and participate in the events they had because they had the arcade room. They're hooked up with MagFest, which their entire thing is about arcade machines. So they had an entire arcade room, free to play, didn't need cords or anything. Go have fun. They had a bunch of panels. This year they started introducing panels where people could go talking about specific things. Like there was a panel about how to start tournaments, how to do speedrunning events, how to do charity events, all that type of stuff. There was stuff specifically about what Prevent Cancer Foundation does, and so on and so forth. That was just some of the panels. Then, of course, they had the mainstream room. Then they had an entire room dedicated to Smash Brothers because that's required. They had a tournament room for people who wanted tournaments. They had that's pretty much two casual rooms. Two casual rooms so you can just hang out, play games casually, friends, play games together and shit like that. And then they had one room dedicated strictly for private practice. So that's where I would go for my practice because, you know, I'm a runner for the event. So I had rights to that room. That's where I did my practice and got my record for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2X. That was neat.
Rip.
Yeah, rip. But I would recommend going. It's pretty much like a speedrun convention at this point in most aspects. Good. Save a lot of money for charity. At the time, when I did my run, we were close to $500,000, and a few hours later, we broke that marker. So I can say that I was part of that effort to help raise money,
You single-handedly beat cancer.
Yeah, John Airborne saved us from cancer. Good old John Airborne.
Yeah, what a hero.
I like it.
Oh man, when are you gonna go to? Oh no, Michael just asked that. I completely forgot that as I was saying.
Oh, SGDQ. I want to get SGDQ.
Are you planning on going this year?
I want to. Depends on how things go in the next couple of months. So I can't really solidify it right now. I'm still going to submit for it as soon as it becomes available. As of recording this, we don't know where exactly it's going to be at, but they will announce the location and the time frame right as AGDQ is ending. They always say, hey, where we're going to be at next, where, and all that stuff. And then a couple months later down the line, they'll do like submissions and all that. So I will submit, and hopefully I get in. And if I get in, hopefully I can go.
Yeah.
I'm sure once you're in, you have better chances of getting in again, though.
Yeah. It depends.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk especially, like we always get at least one in. This time around, I'm going to probably submit Tony Hawk's Underground 100%, which is an hour and a half speed run of Tony Hawk, which we'll see how that goes. I want to get one of my buddies to submit Thug 2 100%, which is about an hour and 50 minutes to 2 hours for a good run. But I'll also submit American Wasteland, Project 8. I'm just going to throw in Tony Hawk games this time around. I threw in Medal of Honor just to see if they would accept it, and they did, which surprised everyone. So that's pretty cool. But next time around, it's going to be just strictly Tony Hawk.
Get that world record on stream, baby.
It's so hard to. 2X was probably the best opportunity I would.
You'll get there. You'll get that best moments of AGDQ.
Oh no! That officer getting punted into infinity was probably a top list now.
Yeah, that was unreal.
Speaking of Unreal, we could probably talk about this thing that pretty much came out of literally nowhere. Nowhere.
Well, nowhere.
There. So there's a certain indie game, as you will, that not many people knew about. It's kind of like, it's unknown. It's a game called Destiny, I think. Is it called Destiny?
Yeah.
So, headline from Polygon.com. Bungie splits with Activision, acquires rights to Destiny. And then the subtext says, future Destiny games will be self-published by Bungie. So, the precursor to this is that years and years ago, when Bungie separated from Microsoft with the Halo franchise, they gave up the Halo franchise to Microsoft, and they were like, we want to do our own thing. They started Destiny. Then they immediately got with Activision for a 10-year, how much was the contract? It was expensive.
$500 million, I think.
Yeah, it was expensive. It's still expensive now, but it was a huge contract. So 10 years, and then came out a few years later with Destiny 1, which we all know what happened to Destiny 1. It's pretty much been written everywhere about what happened. It's pretty much like a case story and how not to make a video game. But they did turn it around. It became a very respectable game towards the end, especially towards the end of its lifespan. Then Destiny 2 came out, kind of did the exact same thing. It had a really bad start. The first major expansion, it fixed a lot of issues that the original vanilla story had, and has been taking off ever since, and it's on the upward trajectory. Then today, on the 10th of January, Activision and Bungie have both announced that they are going to be splitting. Bungie is going to be able to keep complete rights to Destiny, which they were not able to do with Halo, and Bungie will be off on their own, doing their own thing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I am not a Destiny player, and you two are. I think, Clint, you're more of a Destiny player. I don't know. Michael, do you play it a lot, or do you just kind of...
I used to play Destiny 1 a lot. Destiny 2, I'm just like, I played it a good bit. I played more PvP than anything.
So
oh no, you go.
No, go ahead. I thought you were done.
From a player's perspective, what do you think this means or suggests?
So obviously their practices, Activision's practices, has already had a big influence on how they do business, right? It could go anyway. I have no idea. I really don't know. I feel like they'd probably be more willing to listen to everybody, but that doesn't mean they are. I have no idea. I have no idea which way this would go. Maybe they'll cut back on microtransactions a little bit, but I highly doubt that, especially because they've already delved so much in the market. They've already had their money,
and it's underperforming as well.
Yeah, so they could go any way with it. They have their creative freedom. They could do what they want. They have their own deadlines. So, I really could not tell you, to be honest.
Yeah, this is it's a little too early to tell exactly where this is going to go. It has been outed out that the Eververse was Bungie's idea, not Activision's idea to begin with.
Yeah.
because Bungie wanted to help, catch back up with what they were supposed to have at this point in time. Activision was becoming increasingly frustrated that they weren't really getting a return on investment, because even though it was selling a bunch of money, especially later, the player count went down. It was harder to sell expansions because there was a lot of ill will towards the game, because it was a better game than Destiny 1, but Destiny 1 Year 3 was infinitely better than Destiny 2 Year 1. So it's like, why was there a big difference? Why did we lose features? And why are we in the state? Then Endgame had issues where there was like only like one raid and maybe a couple things, and that was it. And Bungie was put into a difficult scenario of trying to pretty much fix all that. They eventually did, in most ways, and now they have a pretty good endgame like suite to choose from. There's all sorts of cool stuff that you can do, and the raid is pretty fun as well, from what I hear. But as for where this can go, it can go anywhere. Bungie could stick the quote-unquote indie route and just make a shit ton of money off of microtransactions, because the Eververse is still there. People still put into it, just not as much as they wanted.
Yep.
They could get rid of it altogether and just focus strictly on content, which is what people want. Or they could, go for another publisher. You never know. Like, they have full rights.
I think my concern with it is that, well, a lot of people blame Activision, I think, for its monetary practices, and I think that's probably fair. A lot of the actual fuck-ups to do with Destiny, from what I've read from journalists and, books and stuff, seem to be squarely on Bungie's shoulders. Like, Activision didn't force them to fuck up Destiny 1's story, or fuck up the lack of features in Destiny 2, or fuck up the DLC or anything like that. It was all internal mismanagement from Bungie that caused all of the fuck-ups to do with Destiny. So I wonder, like, is it a good thing that they're kind of on their own now to make those choices? I don't know if that, like, because they have a pattern of it now, of just across multiple games making the same mistakes. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah, the stuff he was referring to, like the books, for example, is from Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. Is that the correct name of the book? It's made
My boy Jason.
From Jason Schreier from Kotaku. One specific excerpt is from the for Destiny 1, and he was talking about how pretty much the TLDR, they restarted halfway into the project, and then it was like really close to release.
Not even halfway.
It was like towards the end. Yeah, so they had to pretty much just throw shit together and hope it stuck. And guess what? It didn't really stick too well.
So apparently he tweeted about this before it happened today.
Man, he's always on top, man. People bash him,
well,
but
I mean,
he knows.
Sources.
He knows shit.
Yeah.
But it seems like Destiny 2 had the exact same problem, where partway into development, or towards the end of development, they threw out, like, everything had to be redone. Like, they fucked up somewhere, and they had to redo it again. They was pretty much like a refresh. But again, it was like a year out from it being released, which led to a bunch of features that were supposed to be in Destiny 2 from Destiny 1 that wasn't there, and all that stuff. So
they basically completely revamped the story with very little notice to anyone else in the company, like just a year before release, and everyone was pretty shocked by it. Not least of all because they didn't particularly like it. And that's why when people say the lore on the website is better than the actual story in game, that lore was written before the story revamp, so it wasn't affected by the rush to redo everything.
Which is unfortunate, because of all the lore that I have ever read in any video game, Destiny's lore is so in depth and so strange, yet so mystifying, but yet so sci-fi, that it is a tragedy that it never translated to the game. Like,
it's one of the reasons that Marty McDonnell had such a bad relationship with Bungie towards the end, because he was put under so much stress with the complete changing of the story. He was getting, like, for instance, new script notes every day about things that had changed. And if you're a voice director, that's really hard. Like, you don't know what the character's doing, you don't know what they're supposed to be doing, and you're getting constantly updated from the writers who aren't talking to anyone else. So you have to direct all these voice actors without knowing what they're supposed to be doing, and like you have to just a complete internal fuck up of management. And it's like,
go ahead, sorry.
are they going to do that again in the future?
So I will say there's a little asterisk here. For those of you wondering, on the PC version, it's available through the Blizzard launcher, Battle.net formerly, even though that's the better name for it, in my opinion, or many people's opinions as well. It says on here, on Twitter, Blizzard said that the Windows PC version of Destiny 2 will still receive full support on Battle.net, and we do not anticipate any disruption to our services or your gameplay experience. So even though that they are separated completely, Blizzard and Activision's like, go ahead, use it. Might as well, right?
That's probably a good thing.
So that's pretty cool. So they don't have to worry about their own damn launcher. That would be nice if it was on Steam. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Now they're gonna make the Bungie launcher.
Not a Bungie.
Yeah,
launcher.
probably.
Ooh, I know one thing they could do: bring Destiny 1 to PC. They get a bunch of money that way.
Don't give ideas.
They fucked that up somehow.
God.
So yeah, it can go either way.
Launchers.
We don't know how this is gonna go. It's
What's
a little too early.
Been?
Everyone's happy. Like, from what I've seen on r/Destiny the game, it seems like everyone's happy about the entire transition. They feel like it was a long time coming. They feel like that Bungie's finally going to get their chance to, fulfill what they wanted to do from the beginning. I feel like Activision did play a bit of a hand in things, but not as much as people think. So the worry is, how much did Activision help the game, and how much did they fuck up in the process? Can Bungie take this and run with it and become super successful, or will they just falter towards the end of Destiny 2 and never have a Destiny 3 because they don't have enough money?
From now on, they cannot blame anyone else for anything that they do. They've the community has a surprising amount of goodwill for it, considering the mountain of fuck ups that they've had. And if they fuck up on their own now, then can't blame Activision.
I will say
Bungie has to own it.
I will say with the first quote unquote expansion was Curse of Osiris. That was when the player counts were as far, like, it was the lowest the entire franchise had. Like, Destiny 1 had bigger numbers than Destiny 2 for a while. There was a lot of ill will, but Forsaken, the mega expansion they had, kind of pushed things in the right direction. They gave a lot more hope for the series, and especially Destiny 2. Kind of just like how the Forsaken King kind of changed a lot for the original Destiny game. It fixed all the issues that the vanilla game had, brought in some new stuff, a lot of cool content, and people are happy with it. So it's kind of doing the same thing right now. History might be repeating itself, but hopefully, crossing my fingers, they take with it and run with it. That they have the chance
now. I hope they don't fuck it up and then piss everyone else off again.
It's funny because usually Destiny the game, that's the sub to complain about everything 99% of the time. I've never seen that sub in a happy state.
There's entire thread, everyone's happy. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, of course you're breaking off from this giant Activision, and you seen how they done Call of Duty.
They're calling it Destiny Freedom Day.
Destiny Freedom Day.
Sites. Yeah, Destiny Freedom Day. There you go.
Hey, there you go.
You want to pay $1 for these sites,
So another thing though, which is a practice that carried over from the last generation, is still the idea of exclusivity and content, and there's still exclusivity with Destiny 2. So hopefully with this, they can break off the fucking contract with Sony and stop having exclusive content for Sony, where they have shit, guns, strikes, which are dungeons for people who don't play Destiny, and other content locked away to Sony for 1 year. Like, it's not like 6 months or anything. Like, it's literally they have content a year ahead of time, and it's on the disc, it's on the game files, it's just locked away from us, and Sony can play it first for a year. And by the time it comes out, it's pretty redundant and pretty boring. So it's like, Okay. So that was a waste. So maybe this also means the end of exclusivity deals for Destiny franchise. I hope. Like if they come around and like, oh, now we have an exclusivity deal with Microsoft, that might make a lot of people pissed off.
I just don't think exclusivity deals, especially timed exclusive stuff, is very healthy for a game at all.
It isn't.
Yeah, it's arbitrary as fuck.
Like,
Phil Spencer tweeted about the move and said he's looking forward to a very bright future with Bungie, which
So
I
it
guess
sounds like
could
he's
signify the end.
He might be like, yeah, hey, what's up? So yeah, about those exclusive deals, can you unlock that content, please? Thank you.
We'll see. I guess we'll find out.
I don't know, man. We'll see. Because I understand. Obviously, exclusives are one thing, but then exclusive content is always really annoying, and especially when it messes with the balance of a game. Like they're completely different. Like so as far as metas go and everything, completely different from one version to another, for no reason. So,
yeah, it sucks. It really sucks.
So we have probably last piece of news. So what came out the other day was that the Division 2, which has been they've been working on this game for a little while now. Division 1 kind of mimicked Destiny 1 in that it had a really meh launch, but it got better and better with more and more content. And at the end game was fantastic. It was a great game. They fixed a lot of the issues, and it seems like they were on an upward trajectory. Ubisoft got a lot of their shit together. So Division 2 is supposed to come out in March, if I remember correctly, of 2019. But the other day, the Division was announced that it is not longer going to be on Steam, but is going to be on the new Epic game launcher. And
this is damn it, I keep thinking that you're done talking.
No,
so
I keep thinking that too, because whole latency. But go ahead, say something.
We need face to face. No, you keep going.
I was done pretty much. I thought I thought I had to continue with my speech.
Darn, it's one of the.
Whoops.
It's one of a couple of high-profile switches recently. People were wondering if Epic Games Launcher would actually turn out to be in any way some kind of competitor to Steam, and it seems like it's kind of getting there. Telltale's the RIP, except it's not RIP anymore. Episode 3 and 4 will be on the Epic Games Launcher.
I will say that before it will be on Steam as well for those who already purchased the game on Steam. It's just you can no longer purchase the game on Steam. So they're not fucking people over at least, because that would be fucking shitty. But
yeah,
there you go. I just had to put that asterisk.
Ashen is also going to be on the Steam launcher. Journey, the Steam launcher, the Epic game launcher. Journey from the PS4 is going to be on the Epic game launcher.
Hades, so which is the newest Supergiant game.
Hades, yeah, they're snapping up a bunch of exclusives, and the Division is probably the biggest one so far.
Yeah, so far, it's. We could go in depth about what this means, but I think the biggest issue is that for the longest time, Steam was it was Steam and Origin and a little bit of Uplay. Uplay like a little portion of the pie, and there was 3 launchers, maybe 4, maybe I can't think of any more off the top of my head. I think GOG Galaxy, but that's different in my opinion.
Battle.net.
Battle.net, but now we're getting so many launchers now. Now we have Battle.net, Steam, Origin, Uplay, Epic launcher, GOG Galaxy, Bethesda's launcher. If Bungie want to have another launcher, a Bungie launcher, a Destiny launcher. I'm missing a launcher somewhere. I know it.
I mean, there's Discord, and then there's
Discord has a launcher. I forgot they have their own thing now.
The Bethesda launcher.
I already said that one.
You did.
Right 9.
Yeah, Michael.
I'm sorry. We have so many.
We have at least 9 launchers on PC.
I'm waiting for Reddit's launcher.
Like, I don't know, man. I just don't get it. I'm really tired of having so many different launchers when it's like, if you get on the console, it's just like, hey, you download the game or you buy the disc, you pop it in, and that's it. There's no extra DRM. There's none of that. And you don't have to have all these fucking I think down at my taskbar, I think 90% of them are just, 90% of them are just launchers. I have, what do I have on here? I've got Steam, Battle.net, the Bethesda launcher, Origin. I guess Discord counts now. I mean, hell, damn. It's just so aggravating. It's just so many different things, and now everybody's jumping ship. So now, trying to find out, like, sometimes they release a game, you're like, oh, that game looks pretty interesting. Usually you go to on Steam, right, to look for it. But no, now it's like I actually got to dig and find out what the hell launcher this game's going to release on. There's just so many different things.
Speaking of consoles, I actually think this is kind of comparable to consoles. It's kind of like console exclusivity, like how you could only ever play Halo on Xbox and you could only play The Last of Us on PS3, or was it 3? Yeah, it was 3.
Yeah, PS3 and PS4.
And it's kind of like the PC's version of that. Launchers are different consoles now, so you'll have launcher exclusivity instead of console exclusivity.
Yeah,
and that's
multi-platform, multi like launcher games now.
And that's relatively recent. That's not. I don't think that's been a big thing for a while. That's pretty new. And
yeah, it was. But before it was strictly EA Games Origin. Uplay, Ubisoft games, they were on Uplay, but they realized that they couldn't win with that alone, so they also had their games on Steam.
Yeah,
Steam, of course, had their own launcher. If you want to play the older games, GOG Galaxy, Battle.net had their own launcher with WoW and StarCraft and Destiny and all that stuff.
A lot of multi-platform games you could play on Steam as well, so it wasn't a huge inconvenience for people who already had a library. And this is different. I actually don't think it's that weird, because again, it's kind of like what happened with consoles, but I think it's very inconvenient, and it's going to take a lot of getting used to.
I think
because obviously people will build up a huge library on Steam, and now they have to go to other places to get big games.
That's
and that's
my
going to
big
be
issue.
Very like how or if people are going to get used to that, because it's just so inconvenient.
Now we need
Even
another
though
service to tell us where this game
is.
is at, because we don't know which console or which exclusive launcher it's on now.
Yeah, we're going to have ads soon, like Xbox One exclusive. Now it's going to be Steam exclusive, or Epic Games exclusive, or whatever.
I just really enjoyed having all of my games in one platform on Steam, where I can do everything there all at once. Really nice.
It just comes down to Steam. They were just, and honestly, it's partly their fault. Like, they just got so fucking complacent.
Yeah.
Like,
I can definitely agree that it's good that something like this is happening, but to the extent,
healthy, etc.
Yeah, but to the extent that it's been, I mean, I'm just waiting for all these launchers to die down so that everybody can just fuck off, and we'll have maybe 2 or 3 big ones.
Hopefully,
just have the other ones die out.
Like, it's like I cannot blame Valve enough for this situation, and I know they're fucking hating themselves a bit right now, but they just got way too complacent because they were the biggest one. They had the biggest slice of the pie by far, but they weren't updating. Their code is old and ancient. They just started now updating it, and it was already too late because Origin and other platforms have better code bases. There's issues with indie games. Like, you would think that indie games would be able to do good on Steam, and they used to once upon a time, but with how many games being released on Steam a fucking day, and Valve doesn't seem to care, it's impossible for them to get anywhere. There have been multiple reports from indie developers who release a game on Steam, but they get like 8 times the amount of sales on Switch. And it's like, why is this a thing? And it comes down to their algorithms, their algorithms to discover games. If a game is not on the front page or is a Discover thing, it's never going to be found unless it's by word of mouth, which not many indie games can get. They're not afforded that luxury. So and especially in the new tab, like the new and trending or whatever the hell tab it's called, it's there for literally a couple hours and it's gone. That's one of your chances, and it's gone immediately because, well, there is so much shit on Steam. It is ridiculous. That's one reason. And then their split was terrible. I think it was 70-30, and they only brought it better. They only swift it to the developer side only when they got wind that Epic was about to do their thing. But the damage is already done. They have put themselves in a situation. They have attempted to work on things in the past, and it hasn't worked. For example, they got rid of Steam Greenlight, right? This entire system to help developers get on Steam through curation from the viewers, which, in my opinion, should just be on them alone. But they're lazy as fuck, just like YouTube, so they won't do it. Then they're like, okay, you need $100, and you can get on Steam. Guess what? Same issue. Shit is on Steam. Good job. Now you have shit that is just there for achievement grinding. You have shit on there just for trading cards, which they eventually fixed that part, thankfully. They made it so that it had to be with over a certain threshold of sales before they're allowed to get trading cards. But like, there's so many problems that Steam has, and it's good to see that there is more competition, but there's too much competition now.
Yeah,
There's too many launchers. There's going to be publisher exclusive launchers. I'm surprised Activision does not have an Activision. Well, they do kind of in Blizzard Activision.
Blizzard launcher, yeah.
Like, I'm surprised they have
Activision
not
launcher.
just completely pulled and put their games on Activision, like, on that launcher alone. Like, they could do that right now with all Call of Duty games. EA's already done it. Ubisoft could just pull out completely. And now you're just left with a shitty platform for really, really, really shitty games. Good job, Steam.
That's like I've seen a couple of people do it, and that's like what we talked about, like you know, like it's like the 40-cent, 30-cent games that I guess it's just reiterating on what you were saying with achievements and achievement games and card games. But there's just like you can go in there, you can go into new, and I bet you 90% of the things that you're seeing are just random 50-cent games that don't really do anything. There's just so much. I could probably find the statistics on it, but the amount of
I'm sure Jim Sterling has plenty of statistics on it, because that's one of his things is to go after shit like this, and he's been the biggest advocate against like Steam for years now, and like a lot of things he said does. I mean, I don't want to say a lot of things. Some of the things he said has come true about like Steam being like complacent, being dumb. He had some hopes with them going away from the green light system to what they're like the Steam Direct thing now, but now it's even worse. Somehow you've made it even worse. Good job, Steam. And now they're in a situation where they have a million competitors who all have better launchers, and now one of them has the biggest game on the planet, and they are getting people on their launcher now they're getting more exclusive deals through like Ubisoft or whatever. And this could only just be the beginning. Like, and plus on top of that, Valve has made one game, quote unquote, in the past like fucking 5 years or 8 years.
And it didn't do very well.
And it failed immediately. It didn't even finish in the top 100 games at the end of the year. Good job. How do you
when did it
fuck
release?
up?
October?
Yeah, October. It didn't even finish the top 100.
So within 2 months, it didn't finish in the top.
It's it came out in December. Currently about 2,000 people. 2,000 people playing the game right now.
2,000 people for a Valve game.
Yeah, out of the 60,000 that started. Even then, that's really
that's terrible for a Valve game.
Yeah, it's a bit wolf.
There's probably more people playing Half-Life 1.
I mean, you've got to, obviously it's a slightly different because it's a card game, but even then, those
there's so many issues with that game, though. There's so many fucking issues with that game.
Yeah, I've heard. I've read the stories.
So launchers, like, don't get me wrong, competition is good. Competition is great. Competition is needed in any domain. But now there's too many launchers. Now it's like, okay, which one do I go with for this game? It's not on Steam. Is it on? Origin?
We missed the Microsoft launcher. That was another one.
Oh, Microsoft! I forgot.
God, I forgot about that.
Now we have 10 launchers.
I was just thinking about it because what was that horror game that came out recently that everybody's been playing or whatever?
I don't know.
It's like where you kill your friends, or somebody plays as a killer and you kill everybody else.
Dead by Daylight.
No. Here, hold on.
Friday the 13th.
No, it's actually on the Discord launcher as well. It's called Last Year.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I did hear of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's on the Microsoft Store, and I think I was looking for it. I looked for it on Steam, and I'm like, where the hell is this game? And then I saw it on Discord, out of all things. I'm like, what? Like what? And I think a big issue that it's hilarious. You guys remember the Microsoft Store, how you had the Call of Duty remaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys remember reading about that? It was the issue that it wasn't crossplay with Steam, so it had its own server, so nobody was playing this game on the Microsoft
nice.
launcher. So you couldn't.
I didn't hear about that, but nice.
Yeah, so it was the Call of Duty remaster, right? And at the time to buy it, to even play the game, you had to buy the collector's edition of I think it was Infinite Warfare at the time, And then you would get the Call of Duty 4 remaster, just kind of as like a side thing. But you had to buy the collector's edition, like the really expensive version, just to
Yeah.
get that. And nobody played it online. So some people had it, and they're like, I bought this shit, and I spent $120, and I can't even play the game because nobody's playing it on the Microsoft Store. You can't find a game. You could not find a game ever.
So it's not good. I kind of voiced what you say, Michael. I kind of hope that eventually, like, some of these launches just straight up die. I feel like Ubisoft, like, they need to just straight up just give up on Uplay. Like, they were on Steam. Now they're going to be on, like, Epic Games. But it's like, why even have it? Like, if they have the architecture for you to host your servers on their stuff, why do you have it?
They might be seeing, you know, a bigger move through with other companies that we aren't hearing about. They might be hearing that other companies are going to be moving to Epic too, and with the more favorable cut on.
No, I'm talking about, like,
Epic.
getting rid of their launcher. That's what I mean.
Oh.
They can get rid of their launcher. Fuck it. That's terrible. No one likes it. It's literally
it's
trash.
Uplay's pretty bad.
You just get rid of it. Just fix all the games that ever required it, like the Assassin's Creed games or whatever, and Far Cry games. Just make sure that they can be played on Epic Launcher or Steam Launcher or whatever the fuck version it's on, and get rid of the Uplay, because it's no point. It's just straight up no point.
I guess it's good that I never really played any Uplay games anyway, or any Ubisoft games, because
Don't worry, once you've played one, you've played them all.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
especially nowadays.
The only Ubisoft
towers,
game I
though.
like was Trials.
I love Halo.
love Trials, but I buy that on PlayStation at this point. Yeah, Trials Fusion,
I love the fucking Trials Evolution HD 2010. Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, man. There's great games. They're so fun. They're so stupid, but they're just so fun.
Fucking annoyingly hard. I could never do them very well.
Oh yeah, they are pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh man.
Let's see, what's another launch go away? Origin is pretty much stuck. Like, it's EA, it's a major publisher. Of course, it's not going to go anywhere. Gears of Galaxy is fine. Microsoft, hey, by the way, just put your fucking shit on Steam or whatever. Fucktards. Like,
I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they've
They
probably
want
seen some
complete control.
success with it, and they're not gonna.
No, they want
move to
complete
Steam.
control. So
Steam would be a demotion for them, I think.
I don't know. It seems like Steam is just. I think Steam's their clout is going to start falling really fast soon.
Depends on what other defections there are. If it kind of stays like this, maybe not. But if other games start going, then I think Steam will, or Valve rather, will be like, all right, what's happening here, fellas?
Yeah. I mean, they got enough games to self-sustain. Like, their own games make so much money anyway.
They have too much money.
Yeah, they're gonna self-sustain.
Valve is a company that has too much money, so they're not going to be concerned in that way. But future profits may be hampered, shall we say?
But we'll see. But anyways, I think that's it. We've been going on for a little bit now. Thank you all very much for coming out and watching the Critical State podcast.
Last stream.
What?
You said thank you for coming out and watching.
Oh, I mean, well, still, you thank you for coming out and watching because they were watching, or listening. I'm sorry, you're right. Listening to the. Think about that for a second. Thank you for coming out and listening to the Critical State podcast. As always, I'm the Packle. That's Joe. That's Michael. We'll be back whenever the fuck we want to. Maybe next GDQ. I don't know. Maybe I'll dab again. Maybe I'll do double dabbing. We'll see.
Oh man,
the legend.
Is it possible? Like, do you just fold your arms basically? In
yeah,
the
you just fold
dab?
your arms basically and just not just put your head down. That's how you
Nice.
like an
really
Egyptian. Pretty much like an Egyptian.
I'm really looking forward to the future of 2019. It's going to be so fucking rad with double dabs.
Double dabs. You're welcome, everyone. We'll see you guys next time.